I know it's not pretty, but that's the windshield glue packed in there. Instead of me pulling the windshield off, spraying our soap in here. I'm not seeing any bubbles anymore. And I can tell you right now that the truck does have positive pressure in it. We can confirm that with our window. So it appears that the leak might be fixed. We never really know though. We never really know because this has been the most elusive, hard to find, hard to figure out leak ever. Now what I must do is dry this carpet out. It's soaking wet underneath and that water gets trapped underneath the rubber. So I'm gonna lift this up and get a fan, put it in here, dry it all out. I got the heat running right now. That might help, but let me figure out how I can actually get this truck dried out because it's still wet underneath here. So let me figure that next step out. So I've gotten everything put back together. It was so much easier going together than it was coming apart. Wiper blades back on, the cowl area is covered back up. From the outside, you can't tell that goobered windshield silicone sealant, actually it's urethane, windshield urethane up into that area. Did my best to clean it and prep it, checked for leaks, no signs of leaks. And yeah, not too bad of an issue. So the other issue that we're working on, the last problem that we having with the truck is the radio. Whenever we turn on the radio, we just can't power on the radio. Put the key in. Let's go ahead and put it in and see. Put the key in the ignition, turn it on. And like we're saying, the heat's working now. That was a problem. And you just can't, when you press audio, nothing happens. It's like it's not responding. It just stays on audio off. So I'm thinking that something happened with the amplifier. I checked the fuses, and that's kind of the scope of my abilities is the fuses. I've checked all the fuses, can't really find any issues there, but the audio is not turning on at all. I think the amplifier might be underneath this center seat, and maybe that's why, because the water would hit the transmission tunnel and come down, and maybe some of it made its way over this way and hit the amplifier. I don't know. My wiring was so wet, salty. When I pulled this up, underwater and salt. Bad combination. Water by itself, not that conductive, but salt water can carry a current. So all these wires soaked in salt water. I've got all the salt cleaned out now, but maybe something's going on with this wiring as it goes this way. So maybe before I go the dealer route, I'll really check this wiring again. We'll see what happens. But we're pretty much exhausted my abilities as far as what I can do to diagnose this truck. It does seem like maybe a signal wire or something is just not communicating with the amplifier because the audio system is just not powering on. So maybe it has to make a trip to Power Stroke Tech Talk to get fixed. But it does seem like that was my leak. I don't know what else could be the issue. I mean, with the pressurized cab test, I could tell that there's a small leak on this light right here, but very minor. Very, very minor. Barely, with the amount of pressure we have, barely even expanding a bubble. Maybe I'll pull this off, get some double-sided tape, and seal it up. Some commercial grade double-sided tape. These ones I don't believe they tape down, but the newer trucks they actually use double-sided tape, I think, because they were such a problem. Maybe I'd do that. I don't know. But that one, I would have water in my A-pillar grab handle, which I did not have that problem. I had no moisture on this grab handle at all. You'd see a drip here. So yeah, hopefully that does it. And the thing about this leak, even though I've taken it to the dealer to try to get it diagnosed, no matter how much water you pour on the top of this truck, around those clearance lights on top and over the windshield and all that, It has to be rain. It can't be a water hose just sheeting over the glass of the truck. Maybe somehow if it was set to mist and positioned a certain type of way on mist to where the driplets would actually hit the windshield, because being that it was on the bottom side, my theory is that it just won't get into the truck from a hose being on the truck. And I've put a hose on the truck myself, and the water kind of sheets and wets everything up, but falls off of the truck in a sheet, and it just wouldn't get wet, and it wouldn't present itself as a leak just pouring water on the truck with a hose. But with all the driplets of rain, as the whole entire truck is saturated with water, that's when I would get the really bad wet carpet and the prolonged rain. It had to be a prolonged storm where you have hours and hours and hours of rain that I did not have the wet carpet. So that's why it was hard to diagnose. It's hard for me. I mean, 3 years I had this truck. Yes, I didn't have time to really put into it to find out the leak. And I kind of had that alternative solution for the longest, to drain the holes until they clogged up with dirt and the truck filled with water inadvertently again. But all the years I've had this truck, since 2018, it's now 23, I've finally, hopefully, figured out where this freaking leak is coming from. The pressure cab test seemed to have alleviated this leak. I used the best windshield sealant that I could get my hands on from AutoZone, but it's a 3M product, so it should hold up. But the question for you guys is, should the dealer have paid for this? I did attempt to take it to the dealer with no success, and I did call Ford customer service to see what they would say or what they think, and they kind of just said it's up to the dealer. And I don't really have time to really go back and forth with the dealer. Plus, two, what would they suggest to do? The dealer would probably suggest to take the whole windshield out and put a new windshield in and all that, which is fine. But if that can be avoided in doing what we just did, just taking some of that windshield silicone or windshield polyurethane and pumping it in there to fill that void, if that's all it needs, why would I want to take out the windshield, have all that trim being disturbed, have to re-tint the windshield? I run a tinted windshield even though it's not real dark. It's just enough tint to keep the heat out and glare out. Very light tint on the windshield. That all have to be redone. I personally don't want to be doing all that. Whereas, even though they, well, I don't know if it'd be under warranty, and if it's not under warranty, then I'd have to pay for all that as well, being that this is out of its 3-year time frame. So, it's kind of on me now. It's kind of my fault anyway for not being persistent. I just don't love the idea of giving my truck away and not having any idea when it's coming back, and having to figure out how I'm going to operate my business without a vehicle if the issues can't be figured out quickly. So that's kind of the challenge with the warranty. It's like, yes, the warranty is great, but if problems aren't being figured out quickly, man, it's kind of a tough one. With this issue, honestly, it came down to me taking all of this off of the truck to even be able to have access to that bottom seal. And that's a lot of work that maybe a dealer wouldn't be willing to do, and put that kind of time into something not knowing if they'll be getting paid for disassembling something like this to kind of chase something that maybe Ford would say, hey, why are you chasing it that way? I don't know exactly how all that stuff works. But anyway, guys, that's it for today's video. Thank you for watching. So far, it seems like the truck is fixed. I got everything drying out. Doors open. Beautiful day today. Doors open, air flowing through the truck, drying out the carpet. And if the carpet gets wet again, then there's something else going on. But I think, guys, I got it. But anyway, thank you for watching. My name is Sean. This is DS Trucks. Please subscribe. Over and out.